Welcome into the DFS Jags PGA Golf Show 2022 Waste Management Phoenix Open. On the line with me, as always, my cohort, the guy who likes to sit here and talk golf with me at 8:30 at night on a Tuesday evening, my main man, Rick Mukherjee. Dr. Mukherjee, how are you this evening?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. So Rick and I, we played in a golf tournament this weekend. We were following the tournament, obviously, Pebble Beach. I think both of us felt pretty good about where we were going to end up on Sunday going into the day and even through, 7, 8 holes of the first part of the tournament.
Yeah, but by the end, it was a big kick in the nuts to you. We got Tom Hoagie this week, just like how I got Luke listed the week before. It was pretty rough. You had tickets on Spieth and Putnam, right? And someone else too, right?
Yeah, I had Spieth, Putnam, Merritt, and Power all within the top 10 going into Sunday. All of those guys at one point on Sunday either had the lead outright or a share of the lead, except for Powers. And Tom Hoagie just, like you said, to steal your line, swoops in, gives me a swift kick to the junk, and moves on with his first tour victory.
Yeah, and Power set the 36-hole scoring record at this tournament, and he went to Monterey Peninsula and just completely shit the bed. So I don't really know what happened to him. He was, I think he was even money, or maybe even like minus like 110, like after Friday to win the tournament, and then he was back down to like 14-1 after Saturday. So a rough weekend for him. I didn't have any horses in the race going into Sunday, really. I had Jason Day, but that wasn't really like in it. But I did place a parlay on a Saturday night just to try to recoup some money on Harold Varner, who won in Saudi on a miraculous putt. And I parlayed him with Patrick Cantlay and also Andrew Putnam. So I needed one of those two guys to win, and they both sucked. Patrick Cantlay played terrible.
Yeah, I mean Varner's win. It was funny because you and I were tweeting and texting each other at like 4:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, right? Because we had both were watching it. Varner finishes birdie eagle. Basically, everyone had thought that Bubba had won the tournament, and Varner the last two holes, man. I mean, unbelievable 3-shot swing, wins it outright. Good for him. He's got 2 worldwide wins, one there, and then the PGA in Australia. And he's in the field this week. There's a number of guys who were in Saudi last week that made the jump back to the States that would be playing this week. Before we get into this week, even though you and I didn't have any real big tickets, we both kind of recouped some money here and there. We had, middling DraftKings success, but we did. One of our subscribers, one of our listeners, one of our guys, Jeff Fargo, aka Rocco from Del Mar, had a nice little win. He was in for $20 using the data information that we cover, and he won 400 on DraftKings this week. So big ups to my boy Rocco in Del Mar. And then the other one I want to give a shout out to is our boy Ryan Keefe. He uses our data and information every single week. He won his personal tournament. He has a tournament that he puts on every single week on DraftKings with a number of professional motocross riders, guys that ride Supercross. And he won the Farmers 2 weeks ago. Didn't finish that great this week in the Pebble Beach, but using the data information that we cover, Ryan did take down his personal tournament on DraftKings at the Farmers. So big ups to Ryan Keefe as well. Rick, we got to get on back on the winning column. I feel like it's been a while. We hit Cam Smith, but that's really the only outright, and neither you or I have had really a ton of success on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's been a little rough go of it. But I feel like our luck's going to turn around this week. I've always had good vibes at this tournament. I didn't have Brooks last year, which sucked because it seemed like it was a community win.
Yep.
I actually had Xander last year, which hurt. I actually had KH Lee last year, which hurt. But in the past, I've hit Hideki here. I've hit Fowler here. I hit Webb here. I've had winners at this tournament. So I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win this tournament. We're gonna get into it real quick, and my winner's coming from the top of the board here, who I think is going to win this week. So, let's jump into it. Waste Management Phoenix Open, one of the most fun, if not the perennial fun tournament of the year.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because this tournament has really become what it would say is the blueprint for success in terms of events on the PGA Tour. It
Yep.
started as somewhat of a gimmick, right? There was the 16th hole and they built this stadium around it, and it was loud and people would get hammered and act like morons, more like a regular sporting event. But over time, what's happened is it's become one of the most heavily attended sporting events in the United States. And of course, when you have that many people watching, participating, interacting, all of a sudden the stakes are higher, the pressure is on. And to your point, what ends up happening is the cream rises to the top, right?
Yep.
Anytime the stage gets huge, the best players in the world will continue to rise to the top. And that's what happened here at the Waste Management. It's TPC Scottsdale. It's a par 71, 7,200 yards. You mentioned it. Your defending champion is Brooks Koepka. He'll be rocking the blonde hair out there this week. Key stats for the week: ball striking. One of the things in the deep dive that I did this week in looking at the field and just kind of metrics over time, ball striking really mean more here probably than they have at any tournament leading up to this tournament, or I should say through the first part of the year. The biggest reason why is the greens are really, really fast here, and they tend to be either super fast or lightning fast greens. And what that does is it mitigates the effect of good putters and bad putters because it's difficult for everybody. So it's the guys who can stick it close with proximity, guys who do well off approach, guys who can position themselves off the tee, and of course par 4 scoring, guys who can get up and down, who can have a high birdie and eagle rate. And this this course presents a lot of scoring opportunities throughout the day: scoreable par 4s, reachable par 5s, and some very interesting holes like the 16th and the 17th. To me, the 17th hole, which is a short par 4 with water, that's the interesting hole. Like the 16th is great because of, all of the hoopla and dynamics around it. But the 17th hole has really been one of the holes that's meant the difference in the guys who win or don't win this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw it last year. Jordan Spieth was right in it, and he dunked one into the water off the tee. Couldn't get up and down for par, and on the other side of that, Brooks chipped in for eagle. He drove it up to the green, basically chipped in. That was like probably one of the sickest shots I've ever seen, that chip in for eagle, and he won the tournament. And yeah, you're absolutely right. This course is all about approach. I actually played this course. I'm wearing my TPC Scottsdale shirt in honor of it today. I played this course a few years ago. I was there for one of my good friend's weddings, and he got married in Scottsdale. So I took my clubs and played this course by myself, basically. And all I can really say about this course is that it's pretty easy, to be completely honest with you. It's pretty wide open. There's not much trouble. The course is pretty straightforward. The greens are, there's not much break in the greens and stuff like that, which mitigates bad putters a little bit. We've seen the worst putter of all time, Kyle Stanley, win here. So that tells you if Kyle Stanley can win here, putting's like really not that important. So I'm going to be focusing on definitely on approach play this week. So that's really all I can really say about this course. It's a fun course. It's the perfect course for, like you said, when there's 200,000 people coming to this tournament, spectators on Saturday and Sunday, and then on top of that, it leads into the Super Bowl on Sunday. Yep. It's just like it's turned into the perennial, a great, like the best tournament, like I think outside of the majors and the WGCs and the players like that the players want to go play. And you're seeing it like in the field strength this year. The field strength is unbelievable. And then you even got people like Patrick Cantlay, who never plays this tournament, is playing it this year. Like you're seeing how Waste Management has basically took this gimmick, like you said, the 16th hole, which is like a stadium court, the stadium hole, and they said, you know what? We're just going to load this hole up, and we're going to let people just drink and be loud and not care about like being quiet, like during the player swings and stuff like that. And we're going to make that the staple of this course. And they've hammered that home, year in and year out. And people like know that this, like, if you want to go party, if you want to go have a good time or drink or like whatever, you go to the Waste Management every year. This is where, Pat Mayo says he had his bachelor party. Like, this is a good bachelor party spot. This is a good spot for you to go and enjoy a tournament. And then we always see great Sunday finishes at this tournament. So I'm looking forward to another one this week.
Yeah, it's a high profile event. It continues to be elevated in terms of its prestige. You talked about the field strength. You've got, I think, 18 of the top 30 players in the world in this field. And so it's going to make for great TV. And, the point that you made about the number of people that come to this event, the PGA over time has really struggled with how they can get people to follow the sport, how they can get people engaged. And really, the waste management, like I've mentioned off the jump, has provided a blueprint. It's like make the atmosphere more like all other sports that people absolutely love,
Yeah.
and they will show up. They will watch on TV. They will know the name of this, and it will be a spot on the calendar for pros and for fans and for everyone. And so the waste management has really grown into its own. And like you mentioned, it is the best field of the year thus far. Let's go ahead and jump to the top of the board. There are 5 names above 10K. 3 of these guys are perennial winners / have great course history here, have always shown up. 2 of the guys, one of them you mentioned, Patrick Cantlay and Victor Hovland, either have no course history or what we would call not great course history. But all 5 of these guys are in what I would call mid-season shape. Hideki's got wins. Hovland's got wins. Rahm and Thomas look like they are very, very close. Patrick Cantlay has 3 top 10 finishes back to back to back. Who do you like at the top of the board?
I'm just going to get into it right here. My pick to win this week is JT. He's what do we know JT as? He's arguably the best, approach player in the field. He's a terrible putter, and like I said at the top of the show, this course mitigates, bad putters, and there's not a lot of break. I mean, I think I heard a stat something like last year, like 70% of putts inside of 10 feet were made at this course. So like when I hear something like that, I'm gonna go to who I think is the best ball striker on the planet, him and Morikawa, possibly iron play wise. And go with JT. I'm going to roll with him. He has great course history here. He has a couple top 5 finishes in the last 3 years. A couple top 20 finishes beyond that. He's never won this tournament, so I think it's time for him to break through here and win here. And he's been playing pretty good his last few appearances on tour. So I'm definitely going to JT here. I can't blame people that want to go to Rahm. The guy is unstoppable. He's an Arizona State guy. Obviously, he's a hometown guy. So can't blame people that want to go to Rahm here. I can't really blame anyone that wants to go to anyone up here, to be completely honest with you. Like you said, Patrick Cantlay, unbelievable recent form. Hideki's won this course, won this tournament numerous times, and finished top 5 other times. And Victor Hovland, he's won like 3 out of his last like 5 starts. So you can't go wrong here. Ownership wise, it looks like the chalkiest guy coming in is Rahm, and then the pivot here is going to be low ownership wise is looking like it's going to be Cantlay. He's coming in at like 12%. So it looks like no one's really playing Cantlay. So if you want to play game theory, that's the guy to go to. But my pick right here is JT, and my second favorite play here is probably going to be Hideki, just because of his course history.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with JT. You're getting the $600 discount off of the DraftKings salary price of somebody like Jon Rahm. He's only $300 more than Cantlay. And statistically, those 3 guys are so close in every single metric. It's almost indistinguishable about which guy you're talking about. You talk about good off the tee. You talk about great approach game. Those 3 guys are arguably, outside of Morikawa, the 3 guys that check all the boxes. Obviously, you've got to find a way to check guys off the list. For me, I know Cantlay doesn't have course history, but the fact that he is coming in with the lowest ownership, somebody like Rahm and Thomas are going to garner anywhere between 15 and 20% ownership. And if you can get a guy, Patrick Cantlay, like I said, who has 3 top 10 finishes, 2 of those top 5 finishes in his last 3 events, coming into this at a course that you mentioned isn't super difficult and puts a premium on ball striking, to me, that's a recipe for a guy like Cantlay. So in DraftKings, I'll probably be taking Cantlay at the top of the board if I end up going here. And I may just end up fading this whole $10,000 range because so much ownership is being kind of pooled here from the builds that I've been seeing and the way that folks have been talking about who they're going to be playing this week. I think where you're going to be able to be different is if you have the stones to fade everybody above 10K.
Good luck.
You do a more balanced build. I mean, again, and the key word is have the stones to do it. I just think Stars and Scrubs is going to be the lineup build that most people are going to go with this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I mean, I can't I can't do it this week. I can't fade. I mean, I have a few lineups where I fade the 10K range. I always do, but like I can't I can't imagine that at least two, maybe even three of these guys aren't in contention on Sunday.
Yeah.
And to your point, I mean, Cantlay. Can you imagine? So, like, imagine if he actually won Amex and he won Pebble Beach, which
Yeah.
he easily could have. I mean,
Yeah.
he
He
was
was
right
there
there.
both
Yes,
tournaments.
if he won both of those tournaments, he would probably be the highest owned guy in this range, like going into this tournament. And instead, because he didn't play that well on Sunday at either of those tournaments, he's the lowest owned guy. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, are we going to be shocked if Patrick Cantlay, who has never played this tournament or doesn't have any course history here, basically, goes out and wins this tournament? No, we're not going to be shocked at all. He's one of the best players in the world. So if you're seeing that low percentage ownership number for DK, I can't blame you for wanting to go to Cantlay in this situation.
So for you at the top of the board, it's JT. For me, it's Cantlay purely from a game theory perspective. The other guy that I'm interested to see is Hovland. Obviously, Hovland's super popular every week. It's like if you just have to know if you're playing him that he's gonna end up coming in at probably 20% ownership. But this week's a little bit different, because we have so many good names here with so many guys coming in hot. You could get Cantlay at some of a discount where you get him at 15, 16% instead of the usual 20 or 25.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a scenario where you can start a lineup build with like JT and Hovland or, Matsuyama and Hovland? Like, how do you think builds are going to be set up with guys from the top of the board?
You definitely can. I definitely like some of the guys in the lower 7Ks and 6K this range. So I definitely could see people going two studs up top. You could even, if you start off Rom JT, I think you have like 6,900 left over per player. So a couple 7K guys, a couple 6K guys, and you have a lineup with two studs right at the top. So you definitely can do that. I don't know. I can't really speak to know how many people are actually going to be doing that. Doing that kind of build. I think the more popular build, like you said, is going to be like 10K guy, 9K guy, and then 8, 7, 6 kind of range. But the different build definitely is going to be fading the 10K range, starting your lineup in the 9K range, which we're going to get into in a second. Has great golfers in it, so definitely could see someone wanting to be different with a more balanced build.
Yeah, perfect segue into the next grouping here. In the 9Ks, we've got a number of just phenomenal names. Guys that have great course history, guys coming in with great form, also guys that are, again, premier ball strikers. It's headlined by Spieth, who obviously should have won last week. You've got Xander Schauffele, Koepka, Burns, Berger, Scheffler, and Bubba Watson. To me, the only name that kind of doesn't belong here in terms of the pedigree of golfer is probably Bubba Watson, but he's fresh off a T2 in Saudi. This is a course like we talk about all the time. There's Bubba tracks. This is a Bubba track. He just hasn't won here yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why he's priced at $9,000, but when you look at the other guys in this range, he's kind of the one that sticks out to me. The other guy with a lot of question marks is obviously Berger. Berger hurt himself. You brought it up in the Pebble Beach show that we did last week. Berger hurt his back at Farmers. He spent the whole day Sunday grimacing and stretching in between holes. Nobody really talked about it. And then, of course, he withdraws from Pebble Beach. He's back here this week. Again, a course that suits him, a course that he's had numerous high finishes in. I think he's had 2 or 3 top 10s in this course over the last 5 years. But I don't think anybody's going to be playing Berger. The guy that I'm interested in, though, and I'm curious to get your thoughts, is Spieth. We talked about this kind of offline. We were playing in the tournament on Sunday and watching things play out through Pebble Beach. But Spieth made an amazing run last year that started at Pebble Beach. He continued to play well, finished 4th here last year, and basically didn't miss a cut until Farmers here about 2 weeks ago. Do you think Spieth garners any ownership with the names that he's surrounded by, Xander and Koepka and, Scheffler and the guys in the 9Ks and Hovland right above him in the 10,000? Where does Spieth break out in all of this?
He's actually coming in low owned this week. I'm looking at Tuesday, and once again, this is Tuesday projected ownership, so things are going to normalize a little bit more tomorrow and late into tomorrow. But Right now in this 9K range, it looks like the overwhelming chalk is Scotty Scheffler. He's coming in over 20% owned. And then below that, it looks like it's it's Xander and Burns who are coming in the high teens percentage wise. And then everyone else in this range is a pivot. Spieth, Koepka, Berger, Bubba. They're all pivots off of those three guys. So this is a good chance for you to get different if you want to go overweight on someone like Spieth, or if you want to go overweight on someone like Bubba. I could see it from a game theory standpoint. For me, I really like Scheffler. I get the love for him. He played great here last year. He's on my betting card, but I don't know if I can get there for him in DraftKings. I think I'm just going to bet him this week. I don't think I'm going to play him in DraftKings just because of that 23% that I'm seeing ownership wise. Don't know if I can get to that with him, even though at his price at 9,100, you don't really need him to win the tournament. You just kind of need him to top 5, top 10 maybe, and get a lot of birdies. So and that's what we always say about Scheffler is until he actually wins one, we don't know if he's actually going to win one. So
yeah,
if he plays well and wins it this week, I'll be happy because that'll be good from a betting standpoint, but it'll probably kill my DraftKings lineup. So I'm okay with that. It's a nice little hedge I have there. But yeah, you're right about Berger. He's coming in super low owned. He's coming in like 6-7% owned. And if you trust him to be healthy again, like I'm not, I'm scared of back injuries. We see it all the time with people like Jason Day and Louis Eustace.
Charlie Hoffman, who's missed 3 tournaments in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can stomach that, the good thing about Berger is that I feel like if he feels like he can't play, he's not a threat to play and then withdraw. I think if he's going to withdraw, it's going to be Wednesday like he did last week. So yeah, you have that little inherent risk that he might go out, he might feel good on Thursday morning and be ready to play, and then you have him in your lineups and then he plays 9 holes and his back starts to act up and he's like, I can't swing anymore, and then he withdraws. Yes, you do have that risk, but with how good he is, how incredible he is, and how this course perfectly suits him, I could definitely see going to Berger in DraftKings this week.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't get away from Xander Schauffele. I know he's going to be chalky. He's going to be heavily owned, but this is a great course for him. He's a Vegas guy, so he's used to the desert. Phoenix is going to play very similar to the tracks that he's playing and practicing on in and out of Las Vegas. And then, oddly enough, I like Spieth and Koepka just to mix it up. So I like the idea of taking a chalky guy in the 9Ks and taking one of these low-owned guys just to get a little bit of leverage on the field in terms of ownership. And I think if you take that philosophy along with maybe grabbing a guy in the 8Ks, which from what I can tell so far is going to be probably the most overlooked range, despite the fact that there are a number of phenomenal golfers in that range as well too, which we'll get to next. I just think if I'm going 9Ks, the 3 guys that I'm going to be playing are Spieth, Xander, and Koepka. I'm going to have to avoid Scheffler. He's just going to be way too popular, and I've seen it time and time again when he's super chalky, it's just not a good sign. Yeah. I like Scotty Scheffler when everybody's off of him. I like the idea of betting him this week. I love the hedge that you've got played there, but he'll be a DraftKings fade for me. I don't know if I can play Berger. We've got another day and a half till the tournament starts, but the guy that I'm like, I don't know. It's the guy that I'm most trouble with is Bubba, right? This, like I said, it's a Bubba track. Like it sets up for what he does well. He hasn't won here yet. He's fresh off of a T2 in Saudi. Like Bubba to me is the most interesting. I like him both from a betting and a DraftKings perspective. You can get him on betting boards anywhere from like 40 to 60, depending on where you can get your numbers. And those to me are fair numbers on a guy who just went T2 last week.
Yeah, I like Bubba this week. I'm definitely going to be playing him in DraftKings. I bet him. He's one of those guys where you play Bubba at, Riv. You play him here. You play him at wherever the what's the one in the Northeast that he always wins. The Travelers.
Yeah, the Travelers.
Yeah, play him there. Like the Bubba tracks, Augusta. Like the places to play Bubba. So. Definitely play him here. The one that I'm having the most trouble with, and understandably so. So if you put the metrics, if you erase the name put the metrics there, show the recent form, show all the red in his stat categories. You're gonna be like, why the hell is this guy priced at 9,400? And that's Brooks Koepka. This guy, if you just look at the numbers, he should be priced in the low eights, maybe even the high sevens. But then it's 4-time major winner, 2-time winner at this course. Really was playing awful last year coming into this event and won this event.
Yeah.
So you put that name Brooks Koepka next to it, and low ownership. Man, he really scares me because he can come out and win this. He can win this event. We know he can win this event, and he just sucks. He's so bad recently. Like he's just not a good golfer recently, and I can't stomach playing somebody that just doesn't play good golf. And then he's going to come out and play awesome. I don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, I think it's the FOMO, right? It's the fear of what happens if you don't end up playing Brooks Koepka, is that he's going to come out and blitz the field. To your point, we saw it last year. His odds were in the 50s. He was, I think, in at like 88 or 8,900 on DraftKings, and it was like nobody was going to play him, and he came out and he just barnstormed the field. But that's the risk with a guy like that. And I think for me, I think that's why I like him on DraftKings this week, and I don't like him as much as an outright bet. I've been seeing numbers float out there anywhere between 25 and 35. 35 is interesting, but tough to find. Below 30, I don't know if I can get behind it based off of all the things that you just said. He's playing like absolute trash right now.
Yeah, so look at him in your model. He's 38th in the stats, 52nd in form rank, and he's 20th overall in your rank. I mean, that's just not good. I mean, he has worse numbers than Spieth, but I'd rather play Spieth because Spieth looks like he's ready to kick a season into gear after last week. So I can't see that with Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, the only two statistical categories where he scores inside the top 20, not the top 10, inside the top 20 are driving distance and strokes gained off the tee. Other than that, he's very, very pedestrian. And to your point, there's nothing that says why this guy should be priced there other than he's Brooks Koepka. He's the defending champ. He's won 4 majors.
Maybe he'll do it again with that blonde hair this year. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The blonde hair, he looks like a total douche. Like I just, again,
I don't like it either. He looks like a frat boy.
The thing to me is, and again, I had this, we were talking about this on Sunday, but it's like he plays into this narrative that he's like, he doesn't care. He's the coolest guy. And I understand we're seeing like literally 0.02% of his life, but within that small percentage, that window that we get to see him, he's a dick. And like, it's really, really hard to understand why he's perpetuating this other than like, he wants to appeal, to your point, to the frat guy, beer guzzling, dudes that walk around with 4 collars popped. Like that's like his crew. That's the kind of guys that like Koepka. And I really liked Brooks a lot when he first came out. He was a staple in lineups. I loved betting him. And it just seems like, I don't know, to me, that playing into that narrative has consumed way too much of his effort and energy. And it's like, dude, just bag all that garbage and focus on winning golf tournaments.
I agree. He rubs me the wrong way, like same as he does with you. It's hard to not like Brooks because he's so good in majors, unbelievable majors. But it really irks me when somebody is so good in majors and he just like doesn't give a shit about his regular PGA tournament events. Like
care less.
Yeah, you should do your best to win like every time you tee it up. And I feel like he doesn't do that. But this is a different event. He's actually won here twice, so can't really say that about this event. So if he wins this week, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't know if he's gonna make my lineups or not. I'm still a little wishy-washy on that.
Yep, I hear you. Dropping down to the next range, the guys in the 8Ks, it's kind of bookended by 2 guys that are playing like trash, Tony Finau and Harris English at the very bottom. There's a bunch of great names here. Louis, for the first time, we're seeing him. Ball strikers like Connor, Power, Scott, previous winners like Webb Simpson. There's a lot of great options here. Russell Henley, for whatever reason, who's catching more smoke and steam than anybody else in this range, and I have no idea why. But there are great names here. Where do you see yourself gravitating? And do you think because of lineup builds that ownership's going to get kind of pushed around in this region? Or do you think there's like clear people are playing and there's clearly guys people are ignoring?
It's definitely the latter of what you just said. It's Webb and Russell Henley. Those are your chalk in this range, and then everyone else is kind of spread out evenly, like high single digits, low teens in as far as ownership goes, except for Harris English and Tom Hoge. These guys are just, no one's playing them. Understandable with English because he's been trash. I understand why people aren't playing him. I understand why people aren't playing Tom Hoge. He's not the same quality golfer as the rest of the guys in this range, and he's coming off of a life-changing win last week. So I get why people are not playing those guys. So those make sense. But the Henley love, and the Webb love I get. Par 70 Bermuda course, past winner here. This is a Webb course. Henley, man, I never get this guy right. I'm never right with him, so I really don't know what to do with him. My guy in this range is going to be two guys actually, 1A and 1B for me. 1A for me is going to be Adam Scott. I really like Adam Scott this week. I've been hearing him getting touted on some other podcasts this week. I think Feinberg's on him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like him dropping into this is one of those situations where Adam Scott never plays this tournament. He just drops in, swoops in, comes in on his private plane, and he's going to play well at this tournament. Like, I just have a feeling he's going to play well at this tournament. And my other guy I really like in this range is going to be Corey Connors. I know the guy has back-to-back missed cuts, but he's way too good of a golfer to, I think, miss 3 cuts in a row. He's way too good of a ball striker to miss the cut here. I think he's going to be in contention here. And like I said with JT earlier, this course does mitigate putting, and we know how bad of a putter Corey Connors is. So he just needs to, I think he needs to recharge a little bit maybe. He played well at Sony, and then had back-to-back missed cuts at the Amex and Farmers. So he took last week off. And I think he, kind of reset his batteries a little bit. And I think this course fits him perfectly. I don't know what his course history is like. So he has a 17th last year and a 45th the year before. So not bad. But I really like Adam Scott and Corey Connors in this range. And I like Webb too. I always like playing Webb at this course. I hit him when he beat Finau in that.
Dude, I had Finau. That was like,
yeah,
that was almost as bad as the Henley one last year. Like
I had Webb that week. Betting wise, I had him in one and done. So I do have a soft spot for him at this tournament. So I like Webb, but it's tough to eat the chalk with him. So I'm gonna pivot to Corey Connors and Adam Scott in the situation, and I'll let you talk about. I know you love Seamus Power, so I'll let you talk about Seamus Power.
Well, so I do like Power a lot. We talked about all the statistical metrics that you need to be very good at. I mean, inarguably, Power's coming in with the best form other than, I don't know, Rahm and Cantley. My model, the form portion of it, he's coming in as the 3rd ranked guy in the field. He's been doing absolutely everything right other than he played like dog shit on Saturday at Monterey. So other than that, over the course of the last couple months, he's played great. I recognize that the only time he's ever played this course in the last 5 years that he did miss the cut, but I would say that Seamus Power is a completely different guy now than he was 12 months ago. So I like Power a lot, and the fact that you're going to get him at probably pretty low ownership with some of the names surrounding him that you mentioned, to me, that's an added bonus. The other thing that I was going to mention is I woke up on Monday morning, like I usually do, and I jump in and check the odds first thing to see where guys open. And there were 2 names that I instantly, without doing anything else, clicked the button on. One was Tony Finau, because anytime you get Tony above 30, there's value in that. I recognize, again, course history is not great other than the T2 that he had here 2 years ago. His form is not good either. But again, just like we talked about with Brooks, when I see that number drift above a certain threshold, that's an auto bet for me. The other one was Adam Scott at 50. Like you, there's so many things that he does well that line up with what this course demands. You talk about greens that will mitigate putting. If anybody needs putting mitigated, it's Adam Scott using the big broomstick. But I love Scott in this range. For me, the plays are going to be Scott and Power, and I'm probably going to end up pivoting and putting some Finau in there because I think we're going to see low ownership on Finau where we could get him in the single digits for, I don't know, the first time in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I need to see it from Tony right now, man. The guy's just been playing terrible. I was heavy on him at Farmers. He burned me like crazy. He was like I had such a good lineup that week, and he really killed my lineup. So I'm really down on him at the moment. So I can't get there with Tony. I need to see it from him first. Can we talk about Louis for a second? What are your thoughts on Louis? He is making his first start worldwide this week. I don't know, man. Like, all right, I'm going to read you the stat, and it really is tempting me to play him this week. This was tweeted out by Justin Ray on Twitter. Louis, in his first start of the year, anywhere worldwide since 2009, he has 13 starts. He has 4 wins and 9 top tens in his first start of the year. The guy, I'm assuming he's grinding and practicing. Like he's a professional golfer. He's great. He had arguably the best year of his career last year. He pretty much did everything besides win a major last year. What are your thoughts on Louis? I think I'm gonna have to click his name a little bit this week.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this. I'm not a Louis guy. I never have been. He's one of those things where he's an acquired taste. Some people love him. Statistically, he rates phenomenally. You mentioned what he does worldwide. And of course, last year, to your point, the guy had his best year of his career. Playing on the tour, both in majors. I think he had 3 top tens. So again, I can't argue with it. For me, because there are so many names in this range, there just has to be reasons why I'm not going to play a guy. And for me, it's because I don't really like Louis. Not that he's a bad dude. I just, hey, when you get a chance to win the US Open and you lay up, like you're out for me. Like you don't have the killer instinct. And then B, like he hasn't won. So again, I can get behind the DraftKings play. I can totally stand behind that because this is a course where he has played well. I think he has, a top 10 and a top 5 here or something like that in the last 4 or 5 years.
He has an 11th place here last year, and then in 2017 he had a 3rd place finish. So he has good history here.
Yeah, statistically, he's great at par 4 scoring. He's great from long distances, that 175 to 200 plus, which is a key proximity distance this week. He's phenomenal on approach. We talked about ball striking. That is him. He comes in off his best putting year. So again, there's a number of reasons to like him. With it being his first start of the year and the fact that I've yet to see Louis win a PGA Tour event in, I don't know, my lifetime.
Yeah.
I won't be playing him this week. And of course, I'll pick losers like Finau and Seamus Power over Louis Oosthuizen, who has won a major and contended in multiple majors last year.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I love Louis. I think he's a really lovable guy. I think he's a great golfer. I mean, I think the only reason he's priced at 8,800 or 8,700, whatever he is because he hasn't played so far this year. So we have no form on him.
100%.
But I mean, if this was July of last year, he was being priced in like the $10,000 range easily. So I think he's quality golfer wise. He should be. I mean, I think Louis Oosthuizen's a better golfer than Jordan Spieth, like at this very moment in life. And Jordan Spieth is 9,900 and he's 8,700. But I mean, it is what it is. So I like him. I think that stat from Justin Ray is really like tempting me to play him because he seems like he doesn't like fiddle around or dick around in the off season like like Brooks Koepka does and DJ does and party and stuff like that. Seems like he's a family guy. He just hangs out with his family and probably practices golf. So I think he's ready to go this week. I'm definitely gonna click his name a little bit in my DraftKings lineups.
Yeah, like I said, I can't fault you for it. I just can't get behind it. I'm gonna end up going to other guys in this range, but there's solid logic in playing Louis, and if his ownership is not too atrocious, that even makes him more attractive this week. So I can totally stand behind it. Dropping down into the next range into the 7Ks, we're highlighted by a guy who's a recent winner on the Euro Tour, another guy who everybody thought would be an up-and-comer this year and just hasn't panned out, and then a bunch of other names that are very, very familiar from us, from Ricky Fowler and Max Homa to Killer Keith Mitchell and Siwoo Kim. There are a ton of very attractive names in this range. Guys with course history, guys with very good form coming in, guys statistically like Luke List who check every single box. Who do you like in the 7Ks? And let's separate it into two categories here, right? The two subcategories. Give me who you like at 75 and above, and who you like below $7,400.
Yeah. So first thing is Matt McNeely withdrew from this tournament, so don't play him in your lineup. So
No. Everybody play him except for me and Rick.
Yeah, exactly. So Matt McNeely withdrew. I get the ownership surge on Taylor Gooch here. He's the chalkiest guy in this range.
See, and that surprises me. Like I mean, I get Gooch like during the swing season and up into the win, but like he hasn't been like unbelievable in his course history. Sucks here.
No, it's terrible. He's missed the cut 3 straight years. I get it though, because he should not, in all honesty, he should not be $7,800. He should be in the eights at this tournament. He's good enough to be at the eights. Just a few weeks ago, we were playing him in the nines. I think at the Tournament of Champions last year, earlier this year, he was in like the 9K range. So I get it. I get the ownership on him. I can't get there because he's the chalkiest guy in this range. So I'm going to pivot off of him. I'm going to go to Answer here, 7,900. He's coming in low owned. He's really good. Even though, Answer he doesn't have great history here. I think this course does suit him well. And I'm going to go to Killer Keith. I know you're a fan of Killer Keith. I think I'm a fan of him this week. He is great on Bermuda greens. He has, off and on history here, miscut, 16th miscut. But he's been playing good golf recently. His last 5 starts are, he has top 10s, top 20s. One miscut in his last 5 attempts. So I'm going to go with Killer Keith here. I like him priced at 7,500, coming in low owned. And I think I'm gonna ride the Varner train a little bit. I know that he is coming off the biggest win of his career last week, and I know that he's traveling all the way from Saudi Arabia back to here. But I think he's fired up. I'm looking at his ownership right now. It's coming in at 4% for Harold Varner. That's really low after playing arguably the best tournament of his career. He has pretty good history at this event. I think I'm going to go with Harold, and I'm going to roll with Killer Keith in the upper sevens here. What about you?
For me, above 7,500, the guys I'm going to go with: Horschel, Answer, and Homa. You know me, Max Homa. I'm a Max Homa truther.
Mm-hmm.
He tends to show up in big spots. I like him here. He's a Phoenix guy, originally from LA, but makes his home in the Phoenix area. So this is a home game for him. So I like Homa. Like you, Answer statistically, I recognize he's not been playing the best golf as of late, but when you talk about long-term form and the kind of player profile that you're looking for, Answer is a ball striker. So I love him. And then Billy Horschel, like, I'm not a Horschel guy, but here at this course, he's made 8 out of his 9 cuts historically here. He's made 5 in a row with 2 top 25s and a top 10. And then, of course, his form coming in. We talked about it. He has a win in Europe. He's fresh off of a top 15 finish at the Farmers. He hasn't finished worse than 36 in his last 4 or 5 events. So I like Horschel, and I feel like he's a little bit sneaky down here. I think a lot of people are just going to skip right over his name and go to names like you mentioned: Answer, Varner, Gooch, List. And I think he's going to be a bit of a forgotten man. So I like Horschel a lot, but those would be my 3 guys from above $7,500. What about in the lower half here?
Well, before we get to the lower half, any love for Ricky?
No, zero.
No,
I mean,
zero.
I love Rick. Rick's great. He's a hometown guy from where we live. He's hard not to root for. But again, you want to talk about a guy that's been god awful for an extended period of time. Ricky Fowler has been just absolutely atrocious. He showed some signs of life in the swing season, and then he's right back to just missing cut. So yeah. Again, I'm in kind of like you had mentioned before with Finau, where you got to see it. That's where I'm at with Ricky. You got to show me some life before I can jump on that train.
He has such good history here, man. He loves this course. I don't know.
Agreed, but I mean, he missed the cut here last year. He missed it badly. He wasn't even close.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
He just, he's missed 2 straight cuts, one of which was at the Amex, which was like, again, another home game for him. And what exactly is wrong with him? Like,
like I don't understand it. Like he literally won the Players like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and he won this event like 4 or 5 years ago. Like what has happened exactly in the last 4 years that's like ruined his career? He doesn't look like his swing is that different. Um, I mean, he's always been a great putter. Like you can't become that much worse of a putter. Like putting is like something that's just like, pretty natural to people. So like, what has happened to him exactly? Like it can't be age. He's not that old. Like what is going on with him?
Dude, to me, like again, I'm not blaming his wife, but you get married, you have some kids, and all of a sudden your priorities shift. I
Yeah, I
mean, he's not
guess.
hurting for money. Like it's well documented that he's one of the most heavily sponsored and paid guys on tour, despite the fact that he hasn't been very good for 2 or 3 years. And I don't think there's a lot of pressure on Rick. If Rick stopped playing golf today, he's got enough money where
Yeah.
he can build generational wealth. He can
Hmm.
be a spokesperson. He can still do sponsorships. He can be one of the guys on the telecast. Like he's just likable, and anything he does, he's going to be successful beyond golf. And I just think it's not his focus. And maybe it doesn't need to be. I mean, for people like us who love to watch him play and wish him the best of success, like we want him to do well, but again, I don't think it's a priority for him at this stage in his life.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he has been struggling, and he went through a swing change, and now he's going through putter changes. Like I just think there's a lot of red check marks, and he's just like, you know what? If I can get it going a week, great. If not, like it's not going to be what defines me as a person. And I think that's really what it comes down to.
It really makes me sad though, man. I love Ricky Fowler.
Oh yeah,
I would kill to see him win a major at some point. He came so close, like finishing in the top five, like all majors, like just a few years ago. Like what happens then? I don't know. Whatever. Let's talk about these lower 7K guys. I got four names here that I really like. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna go back to him. I was on him last year. I had him in a lot of my DraftKings lineups. I had a bet on him. He just got snaked by Brooks Koepka last year. I'm going to go back to KH Lee here. He is a TPC guy. I think he fits this course really well. So I'm going to go to KH Lee here. I'm going to go to another guy here that has good course history in Gary Woodland. We know that he's won this tournament before. We know that he's finished in the top 10 multiple times. So I like Gary Woodland. And then just dropping down a little bit here, I like Aaron Wise this week. Like I said before, this guy used to be a terrible putter. He's turned the putting around, and we know his ball striking is great. So I think at a course where he can use his, like you were talking about earlier with Adam Scott, with his big broomstick putter, whatever he has. Whatever he's done with that has flipped his putting around. So I like Aaron Wise this week. And I mean, I play Mito every week. So $7,000 Mito, lock and load for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on Mito. Just it's kind of rinse and repeat with him. He's just again ball striking and all of that stuff. It doesn't seem to deviate. You just got to hope that he plays a course like TPC Scottsdale where putting just is not part of the equation, and he can find a way to show up and win. So, I love Mito here. The other names I like, I'm going to throw out some contrary ones because I'm there with you on Woodland as well too. But love Cam Davis, same profile, style of golf, basically a discount version of Adam Scott, off the tee, on approach, phenomenal. He's really, really good from that key proximity distance of 150 to 175. So like Cam Davis, Brandon Grace, great course history, two top tens. The year that I think it was the year that Ricky won it, he hit it into the bunker on 18 and it basically ended him.
He hit it into the water on 17.
That's what it was. He hit it into the water
on 17. Yeah.
Yeah, so Brandon Grace, I do like him here well, and you can pivot away from some of the chalkier guys, Brandon Grace, and then Aaron Wise. Obviously, you mentioned him, but there's two guys right below him, and Pat Perez and Carlos Ortiz that I like for very, very different reasons. Pat Perez has started to show signs of life. He's got back-to-back top tens coming into this week, coming in from Pebble Beach and the Farmers, and Carlos Ortiz. Great course history here, right? He's played this tournament 3 times. He's made the cut all 3 times, a top 25 and then a top 5 here last year. So I like him from a pivot perspective as well. And, Perez and Ortiz are going to garner 0 ownership this week. So I like both of those guys. The guy that I'm interested to see, because we showed, some signs of life at the Amex, which when you think about the courses,
Molinari.
Yeah, Francisco, right? It's like,
he's a 14th overall in your model, man. That's I take that. I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt there. I like Francesco this week. he fits well in your model. Yeah, I mean, he's had a hole in one at 16 before, which is exciting.
Yeah, him and Tiger.
I was watching that highlight earlier today. So I definitely like it. What do you liking about Francesco?
I mean, he plays well in the West Coast swing. Obviously, it's well documented that it's the California courses where he seems to show up, which is why he moved to California.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think about the courses that have been played here recently. Farmers and Amex. This course is going to set up more like the stadium course in Palm Springs than any of the other tracks that have been played up until this point in the season.
Yeah,
and he had a T6 there, so. I like Molinari again. If Mito's going to be 25-30% ownership, he's going to be something ridiculous like that. Like sprinkling in some Molinari is going to be a great way to pivot and gain some ownership advantages over folks. And again, you're talking about a major winner. I recognize he has not been the best the last couple of years, but again, we saw it. It just takes 1 week for him to flash, and he's the kind of guy that has the skill set to win.
I think he's making a little bit of a comeback. He looked.
I hope so. I like Molinari.
I like him too. Yeah.
He just needs to shave that little thing in the middle of his. I don't understand that. Like, why do him and AD got to rock that? They look ridiculous.
It's a little weird, but
it is weird. It's like Louis and Michael Strahan with the massive gap in their teeth. It's like that's like a defining characteristic, like what they use to sell themselves. And I'm like, you guys look like ass clowns. Like, just take care of that. Just a little, and that's it.
No, but he looked different at Amex than he did for the last year. I think COVID did a number on him in the sense that he doesn't really I don't feel like he practices that much. I don't think he really cares about golf that much. He's more of one of those guys that just wakes up, likes to drink he's like an Italian dude. He just likes to drink his coffee, eat some I don't know what Italians eat some spaghetti and stuff like that. But I think he's after having a really down couple of years since COVID happened, and I think after moving to California and he's a little bit more settled in, I'm expecting a bounce back year from him, and I think this is Amex was a good start for him, and I think he's gonna jump it off a little bit more at Waste Management there. I'm definitely gonna click his name a little bit.
Francisco Molinari. I might have to roll some Molinari in the lineup. Maybe it's because I like him so much. Dude, when he won the British Open, or excuse me, the Open Championship, that was probably one of my favorite majors. It was just, I loved it. He's a great dude. I want to see him play well. So Molinari will find his way into some lineups this week.
Yep, sounds good.
Dropping down into the dumpster, all of the guys below $7,000. And again, typically this range is just full of trash. I mean, just garbage. First time guys, sponsors exemption, Corn Ferry guys making their first start, guys, coming down from the Champions Tour and over from Europe. But this week, because of the strength of the field, dude, the 6Ks are really strong. And I think that's the other reason why so many people are going stars and scrubs is that there's actually viable options, real golfers in the $6,000 range that you can go to with a fair amount of confidence, guys that have course history, guys that are coming in good form. But who do you like down in the 6Ks? And who do you think are the clear landmines to avoid just because they're going to come in so chalky? And like we saw with Cam Piercy last week, right? Guy comes in who's not that good, but everybody owns him in the 6,000s and he misses the cut. Who's that guy that you just need to stay away from this week?
Adam Hadwin.
Dude, we're right there. Adam Hadwin. I will not be playing him.
Yeah, he's coming in as the overwhelming chalk in the 6K range. He's coming in close to 10% right now. I will gladly fade a 10% Adam Hadwin in this situation. He will not be making any of my lineups. If Adam Hadwin beats me, I mean, so be it, whatever. I don't know who I really like in this range, to be completely honest with you. I like Higo. I think he's a good golfer. I think he's better than a $6,600 price tag for him. So I'll definitely be going to some Garrick Higo in this situation. I know your model loves Martin Laird, right? That's the guy that in your model. Yeah. He's popping in your model, 17th overall in your model. He's the only one in the top 20 in your model that's in the 6K range. I see it. He's a good desert golfer,
Yeah.
so he can get hot at times. So at a course where there's not much trouble, like we said, and you don't need to putt that well, I think Martin Laird's a good play.
Well, where did Laird win last year? Because he won an event last year because he played in the Tournament of Champions. But
he won at and in the desert at Shriners.
exactly, another TPC course.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely like that. I don't know who else I really like. I Bo Hostler played really well last week.
Dude, I hate Bo Hostler.
I hate him too.
I can't stand that.
I can't stand him either, but he played well last week, and he's coming in low owned. Charlie Hoffman shouldn't be priced at 6,700, but I get it. He's too risky of a play. I don't know, man. Mayo's on Doug Gim. I don't even like
always on Gim though. like it's just like Doug Gim because you know he's good on par fours. Like
I don't even like him that much. I mean, I get okay. So I like Higo. I like Laird. Maybe go to Kyle. Oh God, it sucks to say Kyle Stanley, but maybe go to Kyle Stanley.
Former winner of this event.
Yeah, man. I really don't like anyone in the 6K range. Who do you like? I'm sorry for this terrible analysis, guys. I just don't like anyone down here.
No, I mean, okay, so of course you've got my FOMO. I bet him every week. He finds his way in my
Munoz. Yeah,
I like Munoz. So yeah. I don't even need to talk about him, but I'll be playing some Munoz. I always do. The other guys that I kind of like, the model statistically really likes Matt Wallace. He doesn't have a lot of events that he's played here recently. He has 0 course history. This is the first time he's played it. But statistically, he rates out really, really well. He's inside the top 10 in par 4 scoring for the longer par 4s. So Wallace is a guy I'll have sprinkled in. Norlander, you talk about ball strikers. He's got a top 25 here. And again, hasn't been playing the best, but just long-term form. Norlander's a guy that I'll probably lean on when I start getting into the 6,500 and below. Other names that I'll have sprinkled in. I like Neesmith this week. Mm-hmm. He will be in my lineups. Charlie Hoffman is interesting because it is.
I mean, I don't know what to do with him anymore. He withdrew after 1 round last week, and I feel like he could do it again.
Yeah, I mean, the other 2 guys right by Hoffman that I like are Nick Taylor and Nate Lashley. Lashley's a guy that just plays well here. He's got he finished 3rd here 2 years ago. He's got a top 20 finish last year. Nick Taylor is the complete reverse. His course history is up and down, is kind of middling, but his form is fantastic. He's coming off of a T14 last week at Pebble Beach, 3 or 4 made cuts in a row, top 30 finishes. So Nick Taylor's another name. And then again, just because I think he burned a lot of people last week. So no one's going to be on him. And that's right above Martin Laird at Lucas Glover. Glover could be a play. You talk about skill set, course fit, those kinds of things. Glover. And then one more would be Swafford. Swafford does have a top 10 finish here. And then we talked about those long proximity shots from like 175 to 200 plus. He rates inside the top 15 there. He's in the top 5 in approach. He's in the top 10 in ball striking, top 25 in driving distance. So there's a lot that Swafford presents statistically. With that being said, he's missed 2 out of 3 cuts here. So, there's a reason why he's $6,900.
Yeah.
So, those are just some names. The other guy, again, when you're talking about ball strikers, you have to mention Emiliano Grillo, and Grillo's made, I think, 4 out of 5 cuts here. He's not been good as of late, but the ball striking and approach has continued to be very, very good, despite the fact that he keeps missing cuts.
Yeah, I never play Grillo. I'm not going to him.
I can't say that I blame you. You're actually probably saving money by not playing Grillo.
I like the Neesmith call. I had him in my main lineup last week. He missed the cut on the number.
Dude, the MDF. What? Dude, was.
I don't even want to talk about
that. Was so frustrating.
Neesmith, Eckroat, and someone else I had in my main lineup literally missed the cut on the number. I thought I was in. Dude, DraftKings teased me because they were it was after they had adjusted for the cut, the guys at -4 were still on didn't say miscut next to their name, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought it was top 60 in ties, and then I went to the PGA website and I was like, oh yeah, all these guys missed the cut. DraftKings just didn't update it on time, and I was like, oh, I thought these guys made the cut.
Yeah,
but I like the Neesmith call. I'm gonna keep sticking with Tagala just because he missed the cut on the number last week. Also, he's been playing pretty good golf this year, so I'm going to stick with him. And then I'm going to give you two more names that I like. JT Poston at 6,300.
Great course history.
Great course history. Three made cuts here, an 11th place finish last year. And then last year, he made the turn and he was the solo leader, James Hahn.
It's a good call. Hahn plays well here.
Yeah, he does. He made the turn at I don't remember what it was, but he saw the scoreboard and he was like solo leader, and then he just, I guess, got super nervous or super something and just like dunked a couple into the water and kind of fell apart on the back nine on Sunday. So maybe go back to James Hahn here. I mean, that's the only other couple names that I could say.
Yeah, I like Hahn. We talked about the scoreable par fives. The three par fives here are all, it's you birdie, but they have a very high eagle rate. Hahn rates inside the top 20 in this field for par five scoring. So, I fully get it there. The other name that I like, again, just, you talk about long-term form and then a guy who's coming back from Saudi and statistically rates out well, that's Duffner. I mean, for $6,100, I mean, when you're talking about some of the other options down at that price range, Malnati and Jimmy Walker and Kevin Chappell, like Duffner to me is a clear standout amongst all of those turds. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other guys down here that you can look at, but you're throwing darts. Duffner to me is probably the one that basically almost min $6,100. If you needed to jam somebody into a lineup, I would feel probably better about him than most of them. And then your boy, Scott QAnon Piercy, he's got decent course history here. He's been absolute garbage coming in, but Piercy's another guy where it's like, okay, he showed flashes here, plays well in the desert. He's a TPC guy as well too. So I could see Piercy potentially, if you need to fit him into a lineup, I could understand why people might buy into that narrative.
Okay. I want to give you one more name, and I want you to, he's not on my betting card right now. I want you to ride this with me. Okay.
Okay.
He's priced at $6,000. All right. His name is Preston Summerhays. He is a freshman or a sophomore at Arizona State. Kid's a stud. He's really, really good at golf. He has a lot of accolades. You can look it up online. He's 500-1 right now. Obviously, don't bet him to win, but if we can get a good number on him, top 20, top 40, I don't know if your books offer that. I don't really know what that number is for him right now, but maybe you can look that up. But ride that with me. Top 20, Preston Summerhays this week.
Is he any relation to the Summerhays, like Daniel Summerhays that plays on the Korn Ferry Tour, or Donald Summerhays that played on the PGA Tour?
No, I don't think so.
Just some random dude.
Yeah, random dude. He's an Arizona State guy. He plays this course all the time. He's really good at golf.
I like the to make the cut bet on a guy like that. Probably get some major.
Yeah, I don't know what odds there. Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but I like that too. Make the cut.
Yeah. The other guy, maybe Kevin Tway. I mean, shit, the guy's won on tour. He's got a pedigree. He's been terrible, but maybe Tway down here. But that's a good call with Summerhays. That's a good name where you might, like I said, if your betting board's offering some numbers for guys to make the cut, why not take it a stab? Who's a local guy that plays this course?
If you're playing a lineup with Rahm, JT, and another 9K guy like Xander or whatever, you're gonna have to pick a 6K guy. Roll Summerhays into that lineup. That sounds like a fun lineup to roll with.
I like it. I like the Summerhays call. Speaking of interesting calls, why don't we get into our bets for the week, man?
Let's do it.
All right. So for me, like I said, there were a couple names when I checked the board that were auto clicks for me. The first three guys on my card, Xander, Finau, Scott, because of the numbers that were offered, I had to jump in. I like all of my value with those three guys. I even like it with Answer and Homa. I just think all of those numbers have a tremendous amount of upside versus where you typically get them. Bombs for me this week are going to be somewhat mitigated because this course, like we talked about up front, just it tends to gravitate towards some of the best players in the world. But Mito from a pedigree, and then Woodland, who not too long ago was a major winner, and a guy who was priced in the same price range as Xander and JT and all of those guys. So small card compared to where I was last week, completely opposite. I'm basically trying to stay in my honey hole, which is kind of that 25 to 60 range. And hopefully I can hit a big ticket because the field is so good. Who do you like this week, Brick?
My card is going to be I'm going to start off with who I think is going to win the tournament, and Justin Thomas. I'm also going to parlay Justin Thomas with the Rams money line for Sunday. I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to juice up Justin Thomas a little bit there, 14-1. I don't know what that's going to pay out, but that's what I'm going to do with that. And then I have Scheffler at 30, Bubba at 40, Keith Mitchell at 60, Aaron Wise at 66. And then my bombs are Woodland, Mito, Carlos Ortiz, KH Lee, and Garrick Higo.
Yeah, I'm going to have some top 10 and top 5 bets on like Ortiz and KH Lee and Mito and Wise, because I think there's a lot of value there. I don't know if they can turn the corner to win, but I do think there's definitely some juicy odds out there. And so I think you can find some top 10 and top 20 odds and even top 5 odds that are very, very good. The JT call is interesting, man. It just, I like you. I think he just sets up so well for this track. I just wonder, with the field being so strong, like if you can actually make that determination to go with him over Rahm. Like I'm so scared of Rahm. I'm so scared Rahm's just going to blitz the field every time he's in there. It seems like he's always in the hunt. And like, it's been mentioned multiple times in the tournaments that he has played in, and 2 out of the 3, he's been in the optimal lineup, right? Like if you wanted to score the maximum points on DraftKings, Jon Rahm was in your lineup. So it just,
but he doesn't win. He doesn't win.
He hasn't won. I get it. He hasn't won yet.
He doesn't win. But it's Jon Rahm. If he goes down and wins by 6 strokes, not going to be surprised. But yeah, you want to give me a Super Bowl pick? Who do you like this weekend?
Well, I will be rooting hard for the Bengals. I made a bet on the 49ers and the Bengals right as the season was ending. I thought I was going to get both in the Super Bowl, but I've got the Bengals at 27-1. So I will be rooting super hard for the Bengals this week. And I'll probably do some hedging on the Rams, as it gets closer to Super Bowl time. I might juice up the odds like you've done with JT and take some options.
Yeah, pick a golfer on Sunday after Saturday's round, and maybe somebody that's a couple strokes back. We've seen people come back from a couple strokes at this tournament to win, and parlay it with the Bengals money line and see if you can hit a winner there.
Yeah, and you guys got a big show about the Super Bowl this week coming up tomorrow night, right?
Yep. Me and Chris and Jake and
Mike.
Mike. Yeah. Sean, is going to be on our. We're going to do a podcast tomorrow night previewing the Super Bowl. So if you guys can tune in for that, that'd be great. It will be our last show of the season, and then me and Chris will do some off-season shows previewing the draft and free agency and stuff like that. But me and Chris are going to be doing a show tomorrow. Tune in live. We'll be promoting it on our social medias. And we will be breaking down the big game on Sunday. I am a diehard Ravens fan, as you guys know, so I will be very, very hardly rooting for the Rams. I cannot bear to see the Bengals win a Super Bowl. I do not want to see Joe Burrow win a Super Bowl before Lamar, so go Rams.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to do it for us, Rick. Thanks again, man. Mike on the 1s and 2s, directing and producing behind the scenes. Good luck this week. Good luck in the Super Bowl. Tune into Rick and Chris and the guys. Get all of your betting in for the Super Bowl. And good luck at the Waste Management. It will be an entertaining, fun hors d'oeuvre to the main course, which, of course, will be the Super Bowl. So good luck to everybody out there, and we will see you next week.
Good luck, guys.